But painter's tape, again, sharp knife is important, and just pick an area and start. Usually I start around the rim because it's the easiest one. Try to keep everything as straight and clean as possible, and make sure it sticks tight so you don't have any bleed under on the edge of your tape. This part, on this particular helmet, luckily, you could do one big run of tape all the way around. And you do not get style points for how perfectly even and smooth you are. This is a military helmet. They paint these things by the thousands. Every one is not going to be perfect. Anyway. Okay, now that we have all the tape on, all the areas we want to keep khaki are taped off. Everything else is going to be black. So, make sure your can is nice and mixed up. And again, real light coats, especially along the edges of your tape. Because if you put a really thin coat on right away, it's going to bleed under the edge of your tape. And you're going to get that kind of jaggedy line look along anywhere you've taped off. So you want to use real light coats. And what that does is you put a really light coat on it, you let it set up, and that will seal the edge of the tape down without running paint underneath it. You end up with a lot cleaner tape lines. Alright, now that our black is dry, we can start peeling off the masking. An X-Acto knife or any sharp pointed object helps really well for this. The good thing about using the painter's tape is it's going to do some of your work for you and peel off areas of the latex you use for masking for the battle damage. So you kind of find the areas you might have forgot about. I'm still finding areas on my original helm where I forgot to rub the paint off the latex. Okay, all the tape's off. Now we can start uncovering our battle damage. Now it's going to look a little bright when we first start out, but when we do the weathering, it's going to tone it down. And the best way to do this is just rub it with your hand, and it's going to peel off and look like chips down to the metal. And you get a couple layers of paint through it. It'll look like this thing's been painted more than once. Just go over the whole model. Finding all the areas that you put the latex on. Alright, I think that is just about it for the battle damage masking. In the next step, we're going to airbrush in some weathering and some shadows, and then we'll do a black wash over the entire thing to add a little bit of the dingy, used and weathered look to it. Okay, I use Creatix airbrush colors, water-based, easy to clean up. Once they're dry, they're permanent.
They don't peel or have reactions with your other base colors or anything else. Plus they're cheap and they're at Hobby Lobby. If you don't have an airbrush, don't worry. You can do this with really thin down paints and a lot of small light layers until you get the look you want. All I'm doing is adding some shadows to some of the detail areas, some of the recesses. Okay, the next step we're going to use is a wash. I'm going to mix up a really watered down, water-based black acrylic. And maybe mix a little bit of like a brown or something with it to get a little bit of a dirty, dusty, kind of grimy look to it. Okay, I've got just a little bit of acrylic black and a lot of water mixed up. And this is the real technical part. Pretty much just start slopping it all over the top of it. You ain't gotta be pretty, you just want it all over it. And you're gonna coat the entire model with it. It's messy. Do not do this over anything you want to keep because it's going to stain it. Like I said, there's no real rhyme or reason to this. Just paint the entire thing with it real watered down. And being it's cool and windy, we really don't have to worry about it, but if you're working in the sun or working outside where it's really hot, this stuff will dry fast. So you're noticing it's starting to dry on you, you're going to get brush strokes if you don't add a lot of water to it. And you'll end up with some kind of mottled, strange looking designs on it. Okay, and there you have one privateer paint job. This is ready for a visor, the screen vents, the cloth backing behind the screens to black them out a little bit. A little more detailing, taking the artist pen along the cut lines of the helmet, coming through and adding a little bit of wear marks with some silver and a dry brush to the edges and highlights. And that'll be about it. And then we're ready for padding and going and showing off. As always, thanks for watching 405th, and it's Privateer. Have a good one.